Hey everybody, welcome inside the Joey Moss Suite at Commonwealth Stadium. It's the home studio for Antler Up. Antler Up's a podcast about the Edmonton Elks in the Canadian Football League. Another great guest coming up today. But first, that weekly reminder to like and subscribe to Antler Up so you won't miss an episode. Also, don't forget to hit that share button as well to help others find out about Antler Up and to enjoy it. Except for the score, man, it was a pretty good night on Sunday at Commonwealth Stadium for week one of the regular season. Disappointing finish, of course. 17-13, the Elks lost to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but a big crowd on hand and a great atmosphere throughout the game. The Elks hit the road this week. Week two, they're in Vancouver to face the BC Lions. We'll have the call for you on 6:30 CHED with myself and Dave Campbell. You can also watch the game, of course, on TSN as well. Start time Saturday is 5 o'clock. The Elks' next home game, that's Sunday, June 25th, against the Toronto Argonauts. Ticketmaster or goelks.com for all your ticket information. Next up, this guy.
First and 10 from their own 8-yard line for the Elks. Cornelius takes the snap, drops into his own end zone, goes long down the sidelines looking for Geno Lewis. He's got it at the 50. He's to the 40, the 30. Geno Lewis to the end zone. Antler Up, Edmonton. Touchdown, Elks. Geno Lewis has come as advertised.
Antler Up, episode 22. Eugene Lewis. Let's go.
Touchdown, Antler Up, Edmonton. Touchdown, Elks. Taylor Cornelius takes it himself as he got an open lane to the end zone. Antler Up, Edmonton. Touchdown, Elks.
You're a big basketball guy, right?
Yes, I am.
So what do you think of the Nuggets winning?
I think they were the best team in the playoffs. I think they had the best team overall. I don't think they were the most exciting team to watch, which I think that's probably why some of the ratings were probably down. But you got to give credit where credit's due, man. Joker and Jamal Murray, KCP, all them dudes, they came to play, and they weren't missing too much. So, man, shout out to them boys.
The Joker's pretty good.
Yes, he is.
He's fun to watch. He's fun to listen to talk. He's got a great attitude. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a very unique talent. I think he kind of has like a game like Dirk Nowitzki, just a bigger body. So it's kind of see similarities in their game. But yeah, man, give him all the credit in the world.
All right, let me ask you the question that we got to ask every basketball guy: Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, where are you at?
So I'm a LeBron fan. But I also understand that right now, to this day, Michael Jordan is still the GOAT. I think at the end of LeBron's career, when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be the best ever. I think LeBron had the situations that he's been in with social media and things like that, for him to keep it all together through all these years, I think that's super, super impressive. I don't think a lot of dudes back in the day would be able to sustain that same thing that LeBron is doing now.
Yeah, he's moving around, but he keeps winning and he keeps playing at a high level. And he been under a microscope since high school, right? Jordan didn't get that, right?
Right.
People have been watching him and criticizing or complimenting him since he was like 16 years old.
Yeah, but you got to understand, around the time LeBron was coming up, social media wasn't really a big thing, but the videos were starting to be bigger, and like being able to see people from other states and stuff like that. That's when it kind of got bigger. So, I mean, like I said, man, LeBron has lived up to every expectation possible that he since a kid, man, and you can't take that away from him.
How good was Eugene Lewis as a basketball player?
I scored 1,700 points in high school. I was all state. My senior year. My sophomore year, I averaged 22. And I first started dunking in the 7th grade. So my whole family is basketball players and things like that. So my basketball IQ and things like that are pretty high.
And you went and played basketball after your first year in the CFL, right?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that. You played, I think, just a couple of games for the Alouettes.
I played
2017?
27. Yes, it's 2017. The ABA had just came back out, and there was 2 teams in my hometown of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. It was the Wilkes-Barre Stripes and Stars, and then they made another one, which was the Wyoming Valley Clutch. I ended up playing for the Wilkes-Barre Pens and Stripes that year. I played one game because right after that game I got called up to the Alouettes, so I had to end up leaving. But I had like 10 and 12 that first game, And I didn't really even train too much at that time, like for basketball. But I was ready, though, so I'm always ready.
You played basketball and football in high school?
Yes, I did, absolutely.
College, though?
No, college.
Just football, right?
Just football. College, I wanted to, but it's different when the coaches didn't want me to play, though. They don't want you to get hurt, and they also knew, like, the athlete that I was. So, like, I was going to probably risk my body a little bit in the air in basketball.
Yeah. And football coaches in the university, they want you all to themselves,
yes,
right? Yeah,
that's
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
You been to the Stingers game?
Yes, I have been.
How have you enjoyed that?
I love it. I think it's great. We're gonna go again for sure. Everywhere I've kind of been, I've always kind of tried to get involved with the basketball teams. And I think in Canada right now, it's a huge thing. You got some guys really coming out of Canada, and they're developing a lot better now these days. So it's just exciting to go to these games and just see the level of competition that these guys are at.
You want to talk some football now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do that instead. All right, switch gears. 5 minutes in, we're still talking basketball. Tell me about football. When's the first time you started playing football and you figured you were going to be a football player?
I started playing football when I was 7 years old. Was playing for the Harleysville Eagles, then played for the Souderton Braves. I was playing with my best friends, really, and also my mom. That was something my mom, she wanted me to do because she didn't want me to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of things that was going on. Growing up in Philadelphia, it's a lot of things you can get caught up in and things like that. So she just wanted to make sure that I was involved in certain things that that would discipline me and that wouldn't get me in trouble.
Norristown, right?
Norristown.
Is that outside of Philly?
So I was born in Norristown Suburban Hospital. That's where a lot of my older brother, his family's from. A lot of my family's from, and then I moved a lot in the Philadelphia area. I moved in the city. My grandma, she lived in Willow Grove. Lived in the county and things like that. But, yeah, I was all over Philadelphia when I was a young kid.
Yeah, so Eagles fan?
I'm a big Eagles fan, huge Eagles fan. Yep.
Who's your favorite player growing up?
Brian Westbrook. Brian Westbrook is still my favorite player to this day.
Yeah. Did you go to games at all when you were a kid?
I went to like one or two. I know I specifically remember going to a preseason game with my father, but wasn't really able to go see all the games too much when I was a kid. They were expensive, to be honest with you. So
yeah, you said your mom said you wanted to play football to keep you out of trouble, right? It's amazing how football can do that, especially in some cities in the U.S. And it's so important to players, right? And it not only maybe keeps them out of trouble, but it gets them a university degree too.
Absolutely, and that was for me. Probably as a kid, it was just more of a fun thing to me, and I knew I was good at it, and I knew I could succeed in it. When I moved with my father in 7th grade, when I was like 13, that's when it kind of switched of, okay, yeah, this is fun, but now also looking to get a scholarship. My family didn't have all the money in the world to, pay for college. College in the States is so much money. So, that was part of my main goal. And one of my main things I want to do was get a scholarship for football so my parents didn't have to worry about that.
What'd you take in college?
Human Development and Family Studies was my undergrad, and then I got 3 credits left for my Human Relations Master's.
Okay, Master's. Wow.
Yes.
You're a smart dude.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Mama ain't raised no fool, man.
Yeah, there you go. Talented and smart. Nice. Yeah. And you're pretty, too, if I may. There you go. So you went to Penn State to start with and then transferred to Oklahoma, right? Yep. Talk about being recruited into Penn State. What was that process like?
Yeah, so my first time I went to Penn State was in the 8th grade. I had a high school coach, rest in peace, his name was George Curry. He's the all-time winning coach in Pennsylvania high school football. And he was connected with a lot of schools. At one point in time, he had got an offer from Notre Dame to coach there and things like that, but he enjoyed and loved football, high school football so much and just developing kids, man, that he was probably one of the main people first when I first moved to Wilkes-Barre, who was really helping me. But he seen me at that time. He seen me as a quarterback because during that time Terrell Pryor was coming out, and that was kind of who my comparison was going to be like when I was coming out of high school. They really developed me as a quarterback. But deep down, me personally, I always knew I was a receiver. But I could play quarterback. I could do quarterback. I always took it serious. To this day, I still take it serious and things like that, too.
Have you thrown a pass in the CFL?
I have, yeah. Have I? So before last year, I was 4 for 4. I had the best quarterback rating in the CFL for about 3-4 years.
Nice.
I had 3 touchdown passes.
Are you serious? In the CFL?
Yeah.
Why don't I know that?
I got a touchdown pass. My first touchdown pass was to my boy George Johnson. He was a Canadian in Montreal. My second one was to Vernon Adams Jr. And then I have another one. I have two more completions. I got one to Johnny Manziel, and then I have another one to, I think, a running back or something like that. But I threw a couple last year. There was a couple drops out there, man. But we're gonna leave that one alone.
This guy's got to work harder, right? So you threw a pass to Vernon Adams Jr. and to Johnny Manziel. You make quarterbacks look good more ways than one. Then,
yes, absolutely. That's always my job, man. That's what I'm supposed to do.
You transferred to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
How come? What happened? And why did you make that move?
So when I was going to Penn State, I was recruited by Joe Paterno. I committed to Joe Paterno. The sanctions happened, and he ended up passing away. When I got to Penn State, we didn't have a coach at the time, so there was really no structure at the time. They were trying to figure everything out. When we got the sanctions, Bill O'Brien, he ended up taking the job. Had a great first 2 years with him. After he left to go to Houston, James Franklin came in, and it was even my first year with James Franklin and that staff, had a good year. Still had about 55 catches for like over 800 yards and things like that. But when you have transitions like that, with different coaches and things like that, it's like, they have their recruits too. They got the guys that they want to bring in, the guys that they want to play, and then you got the guys who've been here who were recruited by other people. And sometimes there's a little wall between that, and things like that. But at the end of the day, I went through what I went through there, and then I just ultimately felt like the best decision for me for my career and my success was to transfer my last year, and then I went to Oklahoma.
I've heard that story a lot from guys. A lot of times you don't commit to the school, you commit to the coach, right?
Yes.
And then you get to some guys have said by the time they even got to their first training camp, the coach was gone. Or the coach is gone after year one, and it just changes everything. Right? And then you gotta everyone's got to readjust.
Absolutely, it changes everything because you gotta understand, as a player, you can't just leave and play right away. You got to sit out a year and all this. The coaches, they're able to get a new job, get a new contract, and play right away. So it was like, at that point in time, you kind of got to look in your best interest too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you go undrafted in the draft, but you got a couple of rookie workouts?
Yeah, my first rookie minicamp was Cincinnati Bengals. Then I went to the Seattle Seahawks. Didn't get no contract from either of them. Did well in both of them, just a numbers thing and things like that. And then I had an agent at the time who told me that Montreal had my rights, and they had 3 days left of training camp. So I was like, 3 days? Yeah.
3 days?
3 days left of training camp. I'm like, 3 days left of training camp. Like, the odds pretty much against me, in that situation. And I just said, you know what? I'm tired of waiting, so I'm just going to go do it. And when I got up there, literally guys they weren't even in pads anymore. It was kind of like walkthroughs, and they had one game left for a preseason. And I thank God that I played in that last preseason game. Also, that was one of the hardest offenses I had to learn in 3 days. And,
who was the OC?
Jock.
Chapdelaine?
Yes,
okay.
he was the head coach.
Here for a while too.
Yeah, he was the head coach.
Yeah.
And then his son was the receiver coach and things like that. And then I had went out there in that last preseason game, and I had made a crazy catch. It was TSN top one, and I ended up making a practice roster off of that.
You made a few of those catches.
Yes.
We saw one here. Great catch. I think, and we said on the broadcast, maybe lost in the 102 yards was the catch, because it was a great catch. It was, you come 50-50, you're 90-10. Well, that was 90-10 right there.
90-10. There's always 90-10. I don't believe in 50-50. And I've been doing it for a while now, so it's just something that I just always work on each and every year.
Fourth longest touchdown reception in Edmonton history.
Awesome.
Tied with Henry Williams.
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
Henry Williams.
You might have heard of Gizmo.
Gizmo. Yeah. You say Gizmo. Yeah, he was a dog.
Yeah.
I actually just seen his picture walking through the stadium earlier today.
Yeah, Vidal Hazelton set the record a few years ago. I think it was like 108 yards.
Okay.
So that's the record. So you're just shy.
Yeah, what's it called? D-Walk told me after the game. He told me after the game that he was like 104.
Yeah,
something like
that.
Yeah,
against
like
Calgary, I believe, in a rematch game. Yeah, for sure. So that's all in the last 6 years, 5 or 6 years that we've had those three long bombs.
Right,
so, how's that feel? Like, what's that feeling like? Especially I think you were home and cleared at the 40, maybe even sooner than that, right? Yeah. You're flashing the peace sign, a big smile. That must be just an awesome feeling.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing. Honestly, you got to understand those type of plays, like me jumping over guys and all that stuff. That happens, a lot. But me getting those type of catches and then taking it for that long, like those don't happen all the time. And you got to be grateful and appreciate those type of plays because that's a huge play. It's a huge momentum changer in the game. It gives confidence to the whole team, offense, defense, and special teams wise. So those are the type of things that I know that we're capable of and that we want to continue.
I know you're an athlete and you train hard, but you got to be tired at the end of that run.
Honestly, I was so far ahead that like I didn't have to run full speed. I already had beat everybody so bad. So, and on top of that, if I'm gonna be out of breath on a play like that, that's fine. I'll go get some oxygen when I come back to the sideline.
Yeah, shame it happened. Those great plays, it's awful. It doesn't happen in a win because it kind of tarnishes a little bit. The achievement's there and it's fantastic, but not winning is tough. Eh?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, my mindset and my goal is to win. And, the way I look at it is I know I had 148 yards receiving and a touchdown, but maybe I needed 170 and another touchdown so we could win because, at the end of the day, man, all the accolades and all that stuff is going to come as long as you do the things that you need to do. But it's all about winning, man. And when you win, it intensifies everything else that comes with it.
Your last two games played at Commonwealth Stadium, you got a touchdown that same end zone, both on great plays. With the Owls last year, that one-handed catch, I think Eugene was covering you, or not covering, I guess. Well, he covered you pretty good.
He covered me.
One-handed catch, so we'll give it to you.
He had a hold of my other arm, so you know what I'm saying. He put me in that position.
And then the catch this last week. When you look back, best catch you ever made?
Oh,
can you pick one?
That's tough, man. That's hard. I might say that's tough. All right, so I got to give it like 2 or 3. 2021 Alouettes, we played Hamilton, and I had a catch with about 20 seconds left, and we ended up going up. I dove over 2 dudes. Vernon threw it up. I made a crazy catch. My helmet popped off in the end zone.
I remember that.
Yep. So that was a crazy catch. 2019, when Alouettes we played Toronto in Moncton, we had a 2-point play conversion, and I probably jumped the highest I ever did on like a little post route on a 2-point conversion, and I had my knees were on top of the defender's helmet. And then the last one I'm gonna say was last year playing Toronto, last game. The game right before the last game of the season in Montreal, it was about 13 seconds left. We were down a touchdown, and I dove on one at the back of the end zone. Ended up catching it, which was crazy. So, but there's a lot, man. It's so many that people,
you can't even pick one.
People forget about like some of the other ones that I've had like that were unbelievable catches. So,
I want to read you a list here.
Okay.
And when I'm done, I want you to tell me what that list is. Darian Durant, Drew Willie, Matthew Schultz, Johnny Manziel, Antonio Pipkin, Jeff Matthews, Vernon Adams Jr., Trevor Harris, Dominic Davis.
That's 2018 and 2019, all the quarterbacks that I've had.
That's every quarterback you played with in Montreal over your 5 years, actually,
yes.
right up to Trevor Harris. Harris last year.
Yes,
so.
Yes, you did.
So I don't know if they all played in games with you or not, but those are the guys who started games.
I played in the game with every single one of them dudes.
That's crazy,
yes.
And it didn't seem to slow you down.
You can't let it slow you down. Because my thing is about just making the quarterbacks right. If they don't throw perfect passes, make it a perfect pass. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I've always been, how I kind of see things on the field, and it's just about as long as you help the quarterback look good, the receiver as a receiver, you're going to look good.
It seems since Anthony Calvillo left, that position is cursed in Montreal. They just can't find a guy who's been there for more than a year or two.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think that you're right. I also think that there was a couple situations where they did find it. I just think they needed to stay with it a little longer. But, the business comes in it too, and there's some things for a player that's out of your control. So you just got to kind of go with what happens.
What's it like been moving to Edmonton? You came just before, I think a week or so before camp.
Yeah.
What's it been like around town? Have you met a lot of people? What's the reception been like for you?
It's been great so far, man. This city is a lot slower than Montreal, which is good. Being in Montreal for 6 years and stuff like that, you see how fast and everything is. So when you come here, it kind of just it slows down for you a little bit. And the people have been great to me, man. The city's been really good. The main thing, the probably biggest like transition for me has probably been like the wildfire smoke. So that's kind of the only thing that's kind of caught me off guard a little bit. But other than that, man, the people been great. Been seeing fans on the street and things like that, and just going into restaurants, talking to people, and you could just see how bad the city just wants to win, and the people just want to win.
You getting so you're getting recognized a little bit already?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure.
That's cool. All right, we talked about football. We talked about basketball. Are you a hockey fan? You lived in Montreal, one of the meccas of hockey.
I did.
Did you get to any Canadians games?
I did. I went to two games before. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be truly honest with you. When I go to hockey games, I want to see them fight. I get excited when I see them fight. I love that there's a sport that you can fight and not get in trouble. Yeah, you could take the little penalty box. What is it, 5 minutes or something like that?
5 minutes,
Yeah, I'll take a little 5 minute to fight and all that stuff. But I love hockey because of that part of it. There's not a lot of scoring in it, but I want to definitely get to an Oilers game while I'm out here too, though.
Yeah, excellent. You ever skated?
I have. So the first time the first time I ever skated, which I never really could understand how people could skate on a little metal blade. I just thought it was like something about being off balance. But when I got to Penn State, they made our hockey Paluga Hall. They made Paluga when our hockey team was made, and we were able to go in there and like rent skates and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was a natural, man. I was good. I was going backwards and sideways, everything that you could do. So it's not as hard when you put the skates on.
Well, you're an athlete, so I think it's easier for you than it is for a lot of people. We've seen a lot of Bambis over the years. Some guys putting the skates on for the first time, and they don't have a chance.
Right.
Are you a music guy?
Yeah, I love all type of music for sure.
What do you like?
I'm a big R&B guy. I'm a big hip hop guy. I know some country here and there. I'm not really a big country guy, but I know some stuff here and there. Mostly R&B, hip hop, but I'm more of an old school guy though. I ain't gonna lie. I love 2000s hip hop and R&B, 90s. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But yeah, I love music though.
You got one favorite? If you're a desert island guy, you listen to one artist. If you're stuck on an island, who would it be?
Sheesh, if I could only listen to one. I probably have to go with Lil Wayne if I only got one person to listen to. Yeah, because he was probably one of the main dudes I grew up really listening to and hearing lyrics, like hearing really real lyrics, like not just hearing the beat and stuff like that. So, probably Lil Wayne. I'll go with Lil Wayne.
Got to ask you, we're in Vancouver coming up on Saturday. LL Cool J concert before the game. You probably be able to hear it in the dressing room if you get there early enough. Will you sneak out and watch a little, maybe?
I mean, I'll try. If I can get a little peek real quick, as long as we up at halftime and all that stuff, I'm gonna try to go get a little peek because I love LL Cool J too, man. I definitely grew up on him. You know, my mom, my father, they loved him. So yeah, man, that's definitely I think that's great. You know, for the organization to get somebody like that to have a halftime show.
You mentioned your mom and dad again. Tell me about your family growing up. How many were there?
So I have 7 brothers and sisters total. My mom, she has 4 of them, and my dad has a total of 7. My dad, so my father was a superstar basketball athlete growing up. He went to Edmonton High School in Pennsylvania, went to Pitt University, and then transferred to South Alabama. Got drafted to the 1989 draft to the Utah Jazz. And then he had some hardship times. And my dad was a drug addict, was on crack. Ended up being an alcoholic, and then some years later, when I ended up moving with him, he went to rehab, got his life together, became a pastor, and then my mom, she worked 2 jobs, man, when I was growing up, when my dad wasn't really around, when he was going through his struggles and things like that. So, I appreciate my mom so much because she did everything that she possibly could, and she still does to this day, just growing up with my brothers and sisters, just having to grow up a little bit faster than a lot of other people and things like that. Just being able to, go through adversity, go through obstacles in life, I think it's made me the person that I am today. And I love my mother, love my father for the person that they made me. My brothers and sisters, my sister, she also played basketball. She went to Iona College and then transferred to Seton Hall. She played professional basketball in Puerto Rico and Spain. Got a big athletic family, through the whole thing. My aunt, she's the all-time leading assist leader at Pitt University, and things like that. So, got a great family. Got, everything wasn't always easy, but just grinding each and every day.
Facing adversity and coming out the other side, it's a pretty big deal, especially in some situations it doesn't work out very well.
Absolutely, man. And I'm just grateful that God, led me in the direction that I was led in, and just gave me the opportunity that I'm in now.
All right, we're into the red zone now. Last 3 questions for you. Same questions we ask everybody here on Antler Up, and we'll get your answer to question number 1, which is the first CFL game you ever saw.
Ooh, the first CFL game. Okay, so when I was in college, when I was in Penn State, I want to say it was probably like 2013. Around 2013, one of my best friends and my roommate, his name was Akil Lynch. He's from Toronto. I had seen the CFL like pop up on like ESPN before and stuff like that, but like I was always just intrigued by the uniforms at first. Like at first sight, it was just like, dang, those are some cool uniforms that they got. But I never really looked at the game like that. Didn't know it was 12 people. Didn't know it was a bigger field or nothing like that. I just didn't really know. And then I had a roommate. He would always say like, hey, would you guys go to the NFL and things like that? And I remember it was on TV one time. It was Toronto. I forget who they were playing. Toronto was playing somebody. And we just checked it out. We really just checked it out for the first time and really seen the waggles and just seen like, hey, the field bigger. And he's telling us, the football's a little bit bigger and things like that. And, being an American, especially being in the States, you ignorant to it at first. You just kind of like growing up, it's the NFL or nothing else. So, but once you get to that situation where, the Canadian Football League is an option, you appreciate it so much more knowing that when you get up here and you see the whole dynamic, you're like, oh, this is amazing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was never taught that it was like this when I was growing up.
You got to love the nuances, right? Like you say, the waggle, yard off the ball, the rouge. It's just something special about it.
Absolutely. And I think for receivers, it's a great game up here, man. You have to throw the ball. You're going to have opportunities to make plays and things like that. So once you really understand the game and you really see, the potential of it, you really, really appreciate it.
Question number 2, your best football memory. That can be anywhere from watching to playing to anything.
My best football memory. My best football memory right now is probably winning the Big 12 at Oklahoma. That was my first big championship that I probably ever got in my career. And that was my first college conference championship that I ever got. So that was a huge accomplishment, man, getting that ring. And on top of that, we played Oklahoma State for that championship. So that's even
crosstown rivals, right?
Crosstown rivals, man. Yeah. The Bedlam game. So
All right. Last question. Biggest name in your phone. Time to show off a little bit.
Name in my phone. I got a couple of them. Y'all got to remember the guys that I played with now, man. I done played with Baker Mayfield, then played with Saquon Barkley, then played with Johnny Manziel. They probably some of the biggest dudes I probably got on my phone right now. I would say, that probably was.
Those are some pretty big names.
Yeah,
I said last question, but I was just lying to you when I said it. So the Johnny Manziel era in Montreal, was it as big a circus inside as it looked like from the outside? What was it like?
It was. I'll say this: when I was in Montreal, that was the biggest, hottest commodity when I was there. Like, that was the most media I ever seen in a place at one time. It was just the excitement that everybody was with, and that's what comes with the game when you Johnny Manziel, man. Like what you do on the field, people want to consistently see that. So it was definitely, I definitely say it was crazy, but it wasn't nothing that I felt like we couldn't handle or anything like that. But it was definitely. It was a lot going on during that time for sure.
He sold some tickets.
Yes, he did. He definitely did.
Indeed, which is good.
Yep.
Do you like Geno or do you prefer Eugene?
I personally don't care. A lot of fans and stuff like that, they call me Geno. So I go with the Geno for the most part. When I was in like high school, people started calling me Geno, and then when I got to college, it was more of like Geno was just easier to say than Eugene. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of, and it sounded a little better. So, but I really personally don't really care.
All right, either or then on our
Either or,
broadcast.
man.
All
Yes,
right, Eugene, Geno Lewis, thanks for your time, man. I appreciate it. Good luck to you coming up Saturday in Vancouver
Thank
against
you,
the
man.
Lions. Don't forget, we got the game for you on 6:30. Ched, myself, and Dave Campbell. It's also on TSN. 5 o'clock is the start time Saturday. The Elks in Vancouver against the BC Lions. Next home game, it is going to be Sunday, June 25th against the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts. You can head to goelks.com or to Ticketmaster for all your ticket information. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and give us a share as well for Antler Up. Geno, once again, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. We'll catch everybody next time on Antler Up.
Touchdown, Antler Up, Edmonton, touchdown Elks. Taylor Cornelius takes it himself.